Everyone, welcome to Butcher and the Beard. I'm David Butcher. That's John Shanley. How's everyone doing? It is Sunday, the 21st. Wow, what a
Right.
crazy Saturday.
It was. The results were there, but in opposite fashions that we expected.
Yeah,
Which didn't help my sports book, but I can afford the $6 that I lost.
yeah,
So
yeah. It wasn't a big
it
a
is what it
big
is.
bet on it,
You
but it
know,
was a
right?
little try.
Ravens Texans. I expected a closer game, and
Yeah,
Ravens pulled away in the second half, and then the Niners. I expected them to blow out the Packers, and that ended up being a close game. But
yeah,
Um, you know, that was kind of an ugly game too with the rain and
yeah,
everything, but Niners pulled it off. I do like the fact that they look vulnerable now, which means I feel like whatever happens today, the Niners aren't guaranteed to make the Super Bowl.
yeah, for sure.
But as far as the other side, the Ravens, man, they might be a lock. They look good. Lamar, I think got that off his shoulders. That bad playoff performances, in the past, 4 touchdowns. Dude just dominated them, running the ball, which is what he can do, and you can't stop that. What are you gonna do about that? Yeah, not much for
Exactly.
that. So we know at least where the NFC and AFC championship games are gonna be. Both one seeds move on, and it's gonna be interesting. So
Yeah, definitely. I know Lamar Jackson was he was running the ball, man. He said, "Hey, I don't care about the running backs behind me. I got me." You know what I mean? And he was scoring. So when you got to protect that and you got to put a QB spy on him, it
mhm.
makes it a hard game, man. Especially when he's running well. Like if they're not getting those tackles in the box, then like you got to make a linebacker try to
and
tackle
he's
him.
and he's a big boy, so like
Yeah,
he's it's not going to be easy to take him down.
yeah,
Especially in the cold. That cold weather. You're not going to want to hit him, but
no,
he's going to take advantage of that. So
for sure.
Baltimore is not. It's not going to be crazy like Kansas City or Buffalo, but it still gets cold.
Yeah,
Hell, it's cold here. It's like 34 degrees outside my
yeah,
house right now. I'm in
yeah.
Florida. So, this is football weather. This is playoff football weather, and so far so good. There was a good game. The closer game was good. It was like I said, it was just kind of sloppy, a lot of
Yeah.
turnovers, nothing really happened. And then the first game, the Ravens, after first half where it was tied, they still kind of looked like they dominated the game in the first half, even though the
Yeah,
score was
they
tied.
for sure were.
And then they just like whatever. If you can't run the ball, we're gonna kill you. And then
Yeah,
playoffs, you just gotta run the ball.
yeah,
There's just no tongue about it. But so those are in the books. We got two more today. The first one at 3 o'clock, Bucks and Lions. That's a big one.
yeah,
Um, Me personally, I'm going with the Lions. I think they got the chip off their shoulder last week. I think they're going to be playing loose. And although the Bucks had a nice year and a nice run, and they were impressive beating Philly, but I wouldn't look too much into that. I think that
yeah,
was a lot more of Philly not being good, losing what 5 of their last 6 games,
yeah, for
uh,
sure.
and not that the Bucks aren't good, but I don't think they're better than the Lions, and I think the Lions are going to win this game.
Yeah, that comes down to the same to me. I think the Lions take this. I think it's going to be a closer game than we think because I think Baker Mayfield's going to go out there and try to ball.
Yeah.
But we're going to see. We're going to see if that was just a depleting depleting Eagles team, or the Bucks just because like the week before that, the Panthers they almost lost to they couldn't even score on the Panthers. You know what I mean? So like then they go out there and score 32. Did they use all their magic last week? That's what we'll look at this game because we're going to see if. Baker Mayfield goes out there and still balls out. You know what I mean? If they don't get to Baker Mayfield, he's gonna ball out. That's what you have to do. You gotta if you can let Baker Mayfield have time, he's gonna go out there and just eat your whole
And
defense
that's
up.
the thing about the Lions defense. They've been a little inconsistent, but when they're playing well, they'll get to you.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
have a good line. They'll put pressure on you. They have good schemes. They'll make you turn the ball over. So I do like the Lions, but yeah, it should be a really good game. Like I
Yeah,
said, like when you get to this point, usually the games are close. So here's the Bucks were what the 4 seed, and the Lions were a 3 seed. So it's 3 versus 4. You know,
yeah,
so that's there was a big difference in their records, but Detroit also kind of played in a weaker division. So, well, actually, I can't really say that because the Bucks division was pretty weak this year.
yeah,
Um, But overall, I do like the Lions in this game. But I'm gonna be watching it, having fun, and it's definitely not impossible that the Bucks and Mayfield could have a good game, and they have the talent to put points on the board. So we'll see how that goes. And the Lions have had disappointments this year. It's been an up and down roller coaster, but I think the Lions are going to win. I look forward to. I would really like to see them go to San Francisco, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
So,
it's gonna
and then
be a good game for sure.
yeah, then the late one, the one that everybody apparently is waiting for, the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah,
A lot of people think this could determine who goes to the Super Bowl, even though the Ravens are just killing everybody from this point.
yeah.
I kind of like the Chiefs in this, even though they're on the road, because the Swifties are
The
going to be
Swifties will
there.
be out there.
So the Bills, have something to prove again, because now they got to beat them in the playoffs. They did beat them in the regular season because of a penalty at the end. But the Chiefs are going to have the refs in their pocket, and they're gonna be wanting Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. So I kind of like the Chiefs, but one way or another, this should be actually a great game. It's going to be cold. There might even be some snow. And it's two good teams, great offenses or great quarterbacks, and it's going to be what defense can really just slow down the other one. Um, the Bills have a good defense on paper, but at the same time, the Chiefs have a good defensive coordinator, and he always keeps them in games, and
Yeah,
it's a bend not break, and then let Mahomes win it for you. So I'm expecting a great game. It is their marquee game. It's always the last game of this divisional round,
yeah,
and I expect a really great, entertaining game tonight at 6:30. What do
yeah.
you think?
Yeah, I like it. I think that I'm still picking the Chiefs. That might be a little bias of me, no matter what, because I'm picking the Chiefs even if they would lose by 20. You know what I mean? I don't want the Bills to continue any more than we did. You know what I mean? So, I think that Chris Jones is going to get to Josh Allen a lot. I think Chris Jones is that solidified the defensive line for the Chiefs, and he did it all game versus us. And I think that Josh Allen's going to have a fun game out there. The Swifties are going to be yelling at him. He ain't going to know where to go. He's going to have a couple picks. The Swifties are going to be in his pocket, like we were saying. It's going to be the Swifties all over there. So maybe
Maybe he gets the cash app
the
receipt,
cash out.
like, oh, watch it throw an interception, Josh Allen. Oh,
Yeah,
there's a cash app receipt from Taylor Swift for like $2 million. Like,
yeah. There
you
you
know
go.
what? I might have to be like, even though these guys are making millions anyway, he might be like, well, $2 million in my pocket. Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Just
Here,
here, I'm gonna
how
throw
did
it to you.
he whiffed it? He whipped it. The snow got on his fingers.
He hikes it. He just hands it to the fucking defender. Here, just take it.
He's running and he falls. He does a Daniel Jones like when he's about to score a touchdown, and just
Oh
shoots
yeah,
it off
yeah,
his own
yeah, yeah,
feet.
yeah. Well, I mean, at least there'd be some snow, so you'd have a little bit of excuse, not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
game.
Daniel Jones. I think the turf just ate his freaking cleat.
Yeah,
He
it
was
did.
running fast. He was running really fast. No one thought he could run that fast. That's what it was. But yeah, no, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs.
Well,
The Chiefs know what they're doing in the playoffs. They've done it for how many years now? You know what I mean? It's not too many years
yeah,
that they haven't made the Super Bowl, so they'll know what they're
yeah.
doing.
Yeah,
So
we could be wrong. I mean, it could be the Bills' time, but
yeah,
I'm just playing the Vegas card. But either way, it should be a really good, entertaining
yeah.
game. Um,
We'll see how
hopefully a
many
lot of
whistles come out.
like I think the last time they just it was a close game, and then both of them started scoring. I think they scored like 20 something points in the last 2 minutes. So
Yeah,
you
usually
know,
defense gets
big,
tired and
big
good
touchdown, big
offenses.
touchdown.
Yeah.
So
No.
we'll see how that works out. Either way, that's the football. That's the weekend. We're looking forward to that. Just a quick note: Knicks did really good last night. Gave him a good tribute to Emmanuel Quickly and R.J. Barrett. It was a really cool, emotional game. I watched the pregame. The announcers normally, when they announce the opposing team, they just kind of like read the names off of who's starting, but they gave R.J. and IQ the normal, like as if they were starting for the Knicks, like the big pumped up, like, hey,
Yeah.
RJ starting at guard, RJ Barrett,
Yeah.
and the crowd gave him a standing ovation. And then on the first time out, they did a whole tribute to them saying, thank you for everything. We really appreciate it. And it was funny because Quickly was interviewed. He says, and you could see him. He was just kind of going like this. He's like, I couldn't have looked at the screen because I would have started crying right then and there.
Yeah.
It was emotional for those guys, but they're in a better place. The Knicks ended up blowing them out, so it was good win for the Knicks too.
Yeah.
But it was also like I can't remember in my time when someone who was I guess drafted by the organization and helped the organization do well, and then he gets traded. Having that kind of love and respect from both sides,
Yeah.
like hey, listen, thank you so much, and even the current Knicks were like, those guys are my brothers, and you develop so many relationships in this league. That's just kind of how it goes. It's part of the business. He's like, but I'm rooting for them, obviously, not when they play us, but I'm wanting them to do
Yeah,
well, and
for
then my
sure.
brother. And that's how you get a brotherhood like that,
Yeah.
and it was so good and to see that like that. And I am, watching them, keeping an eye on them in this year, at least this year in Toronto, and I probably will for a while, just
Yeah.
because they were part of the rebuild, when you rebuild a team from trash, you're either gonna be a part of it or trade for a piece that helps that. And
Yeah.
and obviously the trade worked out for them. Their numbers are better. They're in a young up and coming team. We were the young and up and coming team. Now we're kind of traded for a more solid piece, and the
Yeah.
Knicks are 8-2 since the trade, and a lot of blowout wins, a lot of good wins. Really only one bad loss, but that was without Brunson because Brunson was hurt. But now he come back and he's balling out another 30
He's
point game.
yeah, he's too much of he's too much of
Yeah,
a role. You know what I mean? Like when
yeah,
you have a role
exactly.
player that's sitting there doing their thing, you're like you kind of miss that, especially with 30 points. You know how much 30 points is in the NBA?
He's listen. It's Brunson and Randall. The two of them are carrying this team. They're the top two players on the team. They're two all-star caliber players,
Yeah.
and when you get that, that's in today's NBA. That's what you need. You get most of the best teams have two really good all-star caliber players. The few of them that have a third one, um, they have depth issues. A lot of them,
Yeah.
unless you're the fucking Clippers, who now have fucking four of them, and it's like it don't matter about depth issues because you could literally have two bona fide superstars on the court at the same time.
Yeah.
Their whole thing is that they're old. All their superstars are older, and health could be an issue, which I find funny because you look at Russell Westbrook, who gets a lot of shit. They used to get on him with the Lakers, like he was the reason they weren't doing well and this and that.
Yeah.
That dude never is a game. This guy is an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
I've had a love-hate relationship with Russell Westbrook throughout his career. Like when he was winning MVPs, and it's like he's kind of a ball hog. He
He is
just
a
kind
ball
of
hog though. He is.
he is, and he doesn't
Yeah.
pass. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he passes to get assists, but he
Yeah.
won't pass
Yeah.
to win the game.
What was he getting?
Uh,
Like triple doubles every game?
he averaged a triple double, and it was funny because I watched games and his teammates would get out of the way so he could get the rebound, and it's like that's gonna hurt you in the playoffs because you need to
Yeah.
just get the rebound.
Yeah.
Don't let whatever. And that did. They would get killed in the playoffs on rebounds because they instead of because now all of a sudden it's like okay. I'm a forward on their team. All right, I don't go. I have to now try to get the rebound when all season I was not getting the rebound, so Russ
Yeah.
could get the rebound, so he can have these incredible stats. But his skill set is amazing. Like
Yes.
his first step, the way he can get to the basket, his shooting percentage is low, but he has a nice shot, and he just does it all. Like he can dunk on you, he can shoot it in your face and do whatever. And it's such a weird conundrum. And the dude's always healthy. He never had a bad injury in his career. So I there's just such a love, hate, respect relationship for
Yeah.
Westbrook throughout his career. He's not putting up the same numbers, but it don't matter. Imagine bringing a Russell Westbrook off the fucking bench.
Yeah, that's
It's
what you.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's nice for
Yeah.
sure.
So
That's hey, you got
he's
four superstars, but like you said, what
right.
you got to do is you get to the end where you're like kind of in the playoffs for sure, and then you kind of start resting them through the games. You're like, hey, I don't care if we have to play the first seed. We are the first seed. You know what I mean? You can always do that in your head. So
Yeah,
like,
they'll get in. They'll be a top four seed for doubt.
yeah,
It's just can they stay healthy? Because like I said last year, I think they were up 2 games to none on the Suns or 2 games to 1,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden no Kawhi and no uh, Paul George.
Yeah, Paul
So
George.
like,
Yeah.
oh, the two of them got hurt, and then they lost the next four straight. So
Yep. It was same.
you know,
It was like the Spurs. Remember, every time they were old, so every time they get to the playoffs, they were trash because they used all their damn energy for all the freaking regular season.
which is going to be interesting this year because with the whole load management thing kind of being a thing of the past, like the NBA is really trying to do that now. Guys are missing certain games,
Yeah.
but like they're trying to play, and like if you don't play at least 60 games, you're not going to be eligible for any of the awards.
Oh
So
shit.
guys are trying to play. You're
Yeah.
trying to get in there. Guys like Kawhi Leonard are playing back-to-back games. Who like I can't remember if they ever played back-to-back games.
Yeah.
In the regular season. The only one who seems to not really care is Jimmy Butler, but like he's Jimmy, and he's not going to care about the regular season, and he's going to be there, and he's going to gut it out in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
um,
That's Jimmy.
that's
That's
just
playoff Jimmy. He's been that way for his whole career.
most of his career. Yeah, so
So
that's going to be real interesting to see. I want to see how this pans out in the long run because, like I said, right now guys are healthy and they are playing, and we'll see if this, in the second half, like after the All Star break, now you get the trading deadline and then the All Star game, and then teams try to turn it on.
yeah.
But we'll see how this affects the health of players going into the playoffs because
Yeah.
it's a double edged sword. People might say, oh well, they're not used to this wear and tear, they're gonna slow down or break down, or it could be like it was years ago. Like these guys are playing every day; they're supposed to play every day, and their bodies are going to be used to it, and they're going to be just fine. And they
Yeah.
might actually avoid injury because they're playing so much more.
That is true.
So you never know. You never know how your body's going to react. But so far, so good in the NBA. And like for the majority, most of these teams are staying healthy, which is why you have all these teams like equal.
Bunched up. Yeah.
Bunched up for the playoff standings in both the East and the West. And even in the West, like Minnesota's starting to come down to earth. So like they're not like insurmountable. Boston still kind of has a big lead on everybody. I think they're like 4 games on the second place, and at this point in the season, that's a lot. So
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's one game out of each other. So
right, because like chances are if you're a top team, you're not going to lose 3 or 4 in a row unless you have a devastating injury. And
yeah.
Boston's so deep, they're not going to have a devastating injury. The Boston, like they really only have the two superstars. If you want to consider Brown a superstar, I don't really consider him a
I think he's
superstar.
an all star.
I think he's a really good player, but I don't
Yeah.
think he's a superstar. Tatum
Yeah.
is a superstar.
Yeah.
Tatum's ridiculously up there, but then like everybody else is that like really close second tier. Like
Yeah.
everybody else, their bench, their role players. Like they have such a good team and such well balanced, and they all fit with each other, and they have that confidence because they've been to the finals before, so they know what it takes to get there. So, it is what it is. I still think that they're beatable, but I can't wait for the trade deadline next week. So we're gonna have a lot more to talk about with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Also with some hockey. Lightning are playing better. Rangers are back. They're on the West Coast trip, but they're losing.
Did they just fire their coach?
No, that was the
Oh, the
Islanders. The
Islanders
Islanders
did.
fired.
Yes, yes, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
the Islanders fired their coach mid-season. They were
Yeah.
having a terrible year. Well, they
Yeah.
weren't even that terrible. But they there's whatever, it wasn't working. It's time to let them go.
Yeah, the Islanders fired their thing. We
Kind of
won
rare that
last.
happens,
Yeah, it is rare. Like especially, but we're not the coaches.
especially in hockey. Like I mean,
Yeah.
it happens. Like if the team's just not doing well and you need to make a change, like well, the organization knows like if they're not listening to you in the locker room and there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on, then it's time to move on. Hockey, any of these
Any sport,
major sports.
any major
Um,
sport.
Antonio Pierce, it looks like he's staying with
Yeah,
the Vegas. I think that was a good thing. I
I
thought
like
he
that.
deserved it.
Yeah.
They really played well under him. I obviously like Pierce because he won a Super Bowl with the
Yeah,
Giants.
he did.
He was our middle linebacker. He was
Yep.
a big part of the defensive leadership on that team. But that's about it. We got the Bucks and the Lions
Bucks,
at 3.
Lions.
Chiefs and Bills at 6:30, and just another wonderful playoff round. And then this will be it. This will decide the championship games, and we'll have a big show on Tuesday
Tuesday.
about
Yep.
that. Yeah. We'll have
Tuesday. Yep. We will be
Tuesday.
back on Tuesday with more of the updated of all the things that are going to go on, what times are going to be played, the games and everything. So we'll be that. We'll
Yeah.
have some basketball with some hockey in there. I know the Lightning are going to play Detroit at this tonight, so it's going to be the
Yeah.
Bucks versus the Lions, then Detroit Red Wings versus the Lightning. So it's the
You
in
know,
Detroit. So they're both in Detroit. Maybe they're having lunch together right now. Or
maybe,
because they had a
maybe.
fly
And,
last night. They had a game last night. They won 3-1. Got on the plane and had to go to Detroit. So they literally were flying the same day as their
so
game.
Tampa is at Detroit, both in NHL and in the NFL. So
And
that's
then yep.
always cool and weird when it happens. Maybe that's a Vegas thing, or maybe it's just coincidence, or who
Yeah,
knows.
who knows?
But you know what, that happens all the time actually. Like two teams meet in a playoff game or a playoff series, and like in another sport, like those teams happen to be playing in the same
Yeah, that's
city,
funny.
whatever. Like
Yeah,
it'd be
that's
like in an NHL series, like whatever, the Lightning
that's the
would be
NFL
playing.
script.
Right, the Lightning would be playing like the Rangers in the playoffs, and then the Yankees have a 3-game set in Tampa. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, it
just
happens.
hey, look, all the fans are going to be there anyway. Let's just make it a big fucking party, you
That's
know?
it.
So maybe that's a way to look at the schedule. Be like, who's going to make these playoffs? Okay, let's see what this is. All right, Tampa. You know what? The Bucks are going. The Lightning are playing next Sunday in Detroit. Maybe the Bucks will win this game and go to Detroit. So that
Yeah,
way
we'll
you
have to
have a
look.
whole
We'll have to
bunch of
look.
party.
That's more
Right.
investigating that we'll have to start doing because we'll have to start looking into
Exactly.
those schedules during the playoff. Like, oh,
We're gonna
who's
we're gonna really start barroom fights in Detroit because the fucking Lightning and the fucking Bucks
yeah,
are there to represent.
yeah, together. They're flying up there together. Who are you going to see? Oh, I'm going to see the Lightning. Oh, we're going to see the Bucks. Perfect. Let's go to this bar over here that has all the Detroit Lion fans.
It's
Let's
not a
see.
Kansas City hockey team, right? No.
No, I don't
So
think so.
otherwise, yeah, or basketball. Oh well. All right. I think that's it for this week. You guys enjoy the games. We're gonna enjoy the games.
Yep.
We're gonna have some drinks. I'm gonna go out in my hot tub now because it's 30 something degrees,
Wow.
and
That's
my hot
awesome.
tub is 100. So
Is it already
I'm
on?
gonna. Oh yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, you're going to be out there.
Yeah, I warmed it up right before this. I was gonna go in, but then I was like, I'll record the show. I was thinking about recording it from the hot tub, but
Oh,
not
all
today.
right. Well,
Maybe
one day we'll get you in there. One day we'll get you in the hot tub.
I think Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe I'll have a little shindig. You can come by, Dave, and we can actually record together for Super Bowl
All
Sunday.
right, sounds good. I'll come
All
over
right,
on Sunday
sounds good.
and we'll make
All
a
right.
thing. All right, guys. Thank you guys for checking in to Butcher and the Beard. We love you all. Make sure to
Yeah.
subscribe. Make sure to like. And we love you all. And we'll see you on Tuesday. We're out.
Tuesday. Yeah.